snap. Caden looking, rolling right, wants to throw, getting pressure, and they're going to sling. He breaks off of that tackle, gets a block, throws downfield, got Quinn coming back, makes the catch at the 32, and all the way down to the 23-yard line. He was down. What a play from Caden Cochran.
The David Dean Show. Your weekly look at Valdosta State University Blazer football. Here's your host, Dick Rockey, along with head coach David Dean, for a look at this week's Blazer football action.
Hello and welcome to the David Dean Show. I'm Dick Rockey with the head coach, Valdosta State 40, Ouachita Baptist 13, and what a great performance by Coach Dean's football team on a Saturday afternoon in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Coach, our final time, we hope, going back to Arkansas for a long, long time. But, you know, we every week now we've talked about wins and this and that, but today we're talking about a great win, and we're saying both sides of the football played extremely well.
Well, they did. You know, I was awfully proud of our guys, the way they responded after a loss. It's exactly the way that we wanted to do it. We put together a great game plan on defense and offense and played great special teams. And when you put those three phases together and play well, you're going to have an outcome like this.
Well, you know, I was just talking after we were watching the highlights before we started that they had one big play at the start of the game by their quarterback, 45-yard touchdown run, but after that, your defense just, was pretty much shut them down.
Well, Sean told me that they had 75 yards on the first drive of the game and then 150 the rest of the game, and that's a dominating performance after that first drive.
You have to bear with me. Numbers are exciting, to the fans and the radio people and media people. 424 yards passing, 9th all-time on VSU passing list for one game. 597 total yards of offense. We haven't seen those kind of numbers in a while. That's 6th all-time in one game, and it's fun to be. And here's a number I know you don't want me to talk about, but that win was your 41st. That puts you 2nd all-time behind Chris Hatcher as the most wins as a head coach at Valdosta State.
I didn't realize that, but that's a credit to a lot of the great players that played for us since 2007. A lot of great coaches that have come through here, Joe Coughlin and David Elzenrath and Buster Faulkner. The credit a lot of those guys. But for us to be able to go out and come away with that 40-13 victory, that means more than anything else.
Well, we had to mention, Coach, and it's good your family wants to know all that kind of stuff. So that's a great accomplishment. But, we're smiling today. A week ago we were not, as we did this show, that's football. But it was such a turnaround. Can you see that? You really can't see it until the game starts.
No, you really can. And everything that led up to the game was really chaos. Yeah. Unless you were part of it and realized what our kids had to go through to get ready to play that ball game, you would be even more proud of them. And I don't know if we'll have an opportunity to talk about that, but what those guys did in preparation for that game through the week and then having to deal with what they dealt with on Saturday, just a heck of an accomplishment for those guys. All
right, Coach, we'll take a break and we'll come back and look at first half highlights.
Valdosta State University. Encouraging.
In-depth inquiry.
Hands-on experience.
Service and involvement.
And a global view.
While offering
a beautiful residential campus.
Over 100 fields of study.
Graduate and online degrees.
And championship athletics.
All in a warm and friendly community.
Get connected and involved.
Do more. Become more.
Valdosta State University.
Coaches, we talked about a big win for your football team. We got a little bit of time. We were some problems there as we left Valdosta yesterday morning very, very, very early.
We did. We were about an hour late leaving Valdosta, which threw us way behind. I thought we had some time built in for anything that may happen, but not for an hour late departure. Our kids had to eat the pregame meal very quickly. We got there an hour and a half before the football game, and then once we got there, we found out that they were doing all their homecoming festivities before the game. So we were able to go out and warm up for about 15 minutes. We ended up warming up on their baseball field, and again, our kids' credit, they didn't let that bother them. They went out there and they played a great football game.
Hey, let's go ahead and look at the highlights. A lot of highlights in the first half. Blazer Walk. Had, again, a decent crowd there. Of course, that's a huge trip for anybody. I don't care where you live to get into Arkansas where we play. And it's nice to see the fans there. You won the toss. You deferred. They get the football and they drive it right down the field with one big play.
Yeah, they had an excellent drive to start the ball game. We made some big plays in there, but they converted a third down on us, 2 third downs on that drive, and really got down. There's a great play right there by Lawrence Virgil to start off the game. This is about the 7th or 8th play of the drive, and they break this run for a touchdown. That's their signature play. That's what they do well, is that quarterback power. Nice throw right here by Austin Robertson, sprint out pass to Griffin Riley. Griffin made some nice catches, great run right there afterwards, and here's the screen pass out there to Quinn Robertson. Quinn made a heck of a move right there to get open and about slipped through there on that second block. This was a huge play in the ball game. What a great kick right here by Jack Fulford. He hits it right inside the 10, and then John Bell is right there to pin it. And then watch his penetration. Boom. I mean, we're hitting 3 yards in the backfield. Great job there, Tyler Josie. All that defensive line, and we end up getting a safety out of it. And here's the little zone read again that we run. And we end up not doing anything on that second drive, and we were very fortunate to have a great break right here. The ball just bounces right up into their man, and we recover it. And we're in good shape right here. We got to go down and we got to put points on the board. And a little screen pass there to Trey Herndon. He picks up about 7 yards. And then the draw play that gets us a first down. And then we actually scored 2 touchdowns on this drive that were all called back for penalties. And we ended up going for a long field goal and did not make it. So it was really disappointing after the turnover not to convert those points and still only be down 7-2. Great play there by Larry Bryant. We held them. They had a pretty good drive right there, but we stalled them out there inside the 30. They come out and convert a field goal, so we're back down by 8. And here's a little change of pace. Caden Cochran comes in the game, does a nice job. He's got a lot of speed back there. Made some really nice throws in the ball game. Another one right there to Griffin Riley. And they were bringing a lot of blitzes, as you can see. There's a lot of guys running free, and this is what he can do. He can manufacture plays. And Quinn Robertson does a great job of working back to the football, getting open. And then great to have Theseus back. Theseus was running hard. We missed Theseus last week in Monticello. We scored another touchdown there that was called back. That was our 3rd one of the game, and we had to end up settling for a field goal. So at least we cut the deficit down. Big play right there. Andrew Lawrenson knocks that ball down, and I thought David Bailey ran the football very well again. He had another solid football game. He and Theseus are a great combination. Great step up and throw right here to Griffin again for a big gain. And then good run again. You see Davis lowering his shoulder, knocking folks back. And here's our little Wildcat package, little quarterback sweep. Reggie Lewis takes it in there for the touchdown. And we finally got us a lead there about 6 or 7 minutes before the half. Great play there by Japri Miles again. Here's their version of the Wildcat. Chris Pope sitting right in there in the hole to make the stop. And then, boy, what a great play right there by Jeremy Grable. Knocks the ball loose. And we didn't get that fumble, but at least we forced them to have to go down the field and punt. And, well, what a great play right there by Shontavius Jones, back-to-back, great catches. That's what he can do for us. He's got to continue to play the way that he played in this ball game.
6 catches, 204 yards for Shontavius there. And, Coach, we talked about the touchdowns coming back. I've done it 14 years on the radio. You've coached longer than that. 4 touchdowns called back. We had 2 on 1 out of a 4 series plays. Two times it was called back. Not going to say 13 penalties again. We're glad to be out of Arkansas. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, we are. We're glad to be out. And the difference in this game and the Monticello game is we were able to overcome those penalties, and we weren't able to do that last week. And I told some of our coaches, I said, you don't have 4 touchdowns called back in a season, let alone in one ball game, but it happened to us.
Well, a great first half for Valdosta State, and things only get better in the second half. We'll be back and take a look in just a moment.
In each of us, there is a hero, a champion, a legend waiting to happen. is no ordinary museum. The College Football Hall of Fame in South Bend, Indiana.
Scott Fambro, Atlanta, Georgia, play tight end. Welcome to the David Dean Show. I am the revolution.
All right, Coach, you come out of the locker room with a nice lead. You're going to get to football to start the second half. Tell me, going in the locker room, how you felt coming out. You know, Caden was playing extremely well. The offense was responding around him. Was there any thought? Was Austin? I'd heard Austin had slightly injured too.
Well, Austin hurt his shoulder in the ball game, and that's why he came out. You know, we don't know how he's going to be. He actually could have gone back in the game, but Caden was playing so well that we just didn't feel like that we could pull him out at that time. He was making plays, and like you said, our kids were responding to him being out there on the field. So no, it was never a thought process of putting him back in the ball game, especially with an injury.
Yeah, let's watch the second half. And really, it's all Valdosta State offensively. The Blazers do give up one touchdown, but gosh, I got so many numbers here this morning, I'll never get to all of them. And, they're just fun to talk about when you win.
Well, this is probably the one thing that we didn't do exceptionally well in the ball game. They did a great job of covering kicks, and they always do. They're very solid in their special teams. And, so we end up having to have some long drives. And here's a third down play right here. We do a little out and up, and Shontavious Jones makes a great move, a great throw right there by Caden, and then he just uses his speed to outrun everybody. And then here's what we were doing yesterday that we did not do a week ago, and the last time that we made it to Arkadelphia is we were tackling. Great play right there by Lawrence Virgil, strips the ball on a sack, and then first play we throw the ball in the end zone to Quinn Robertson for a touchdown. And we've extended that lead now. We're up by 16. And our defense right now, they're getting after them. They're flying around the football. You can see we got great pressure. I thought we rushed the passer very well the whole game. We allowed them to get an extra downs off of a personal foul, which we have got to take care of. Those things are killing us right now, just stupid mistakes. And it was a freshman that did it, and I think he'll learn from that. But here's a great throw again. Ontavious gets behind the defense, and Caden puts the ball on the money, and that was a one-play drive. We come out and throw the ball for a touchdown right off the change of possession. And they started going to their big tight end. They got a great tight end there, number 11. Is a big physical football player, and they started feeding him the football. They put a nice drive together, did not convert on fourth down, and then we have to get the ball back off our goal line. Again, great throw right there by Caden to Trey Herndon. Picks up a big third down. This is the first play of the fourth quarter. We throw a little screen right there to Scott Fambro. Scott makes a great run, breaks several tackles, and love to have seen him score right there. We just don't. We have one guy right there that we can't block, and he ends up making the play. Again, great run right there by David. Our offensive line, I thought, again, played another outstanding football game. And again, this is what Caden is giving to us right now, is being able to escape. Unfortunate, Daniel comes out, doesn't play the wind very well, and the ball blows across, and we missed the field goal there, missed another opportunity for points. So our defense comes back out, and again, we're playing a lot of guys in here. Watch this play here by Bubba Boatwright. He gets off and keeps working to the football, makes a great tackle right there, forces a third down and long, and then they don't get it. We got great coverage down the field. He's got to throw underneath, and we force him back to punt. Here's the screen again to Quinn, and you see how quickly he can explode through a hole, getting us positive yards on the screen play. And then again, our offensive line's opening up holes there for David. They had a lot of people in the box at this time, so we were having to block a lot of people. And again, that's a good read there by Caden, and big third down run right there by David gets us the first down to extend the drive. This was a huge drive in the ball game because we took the ball over with about 7 minutes, and when the drive stalled out, there was only about a minute left in the ball game, so we pretty much ran the clock out. Great job there. We had a big catch by R.J. Davis, and then come back with Shontavious Jones on a big catch. That was our fourth touchdown that we scored that was called back, and then we didn't make it on fourth down. And great play here by Lance Holder, knocking that ball away. It was great to get Lance an opportunity to get in the ball game and play a little bit. He's a redshirt freshman from Central Gwinnett. And, we were able to play a lot of guys in the secondary and give them some valuable experience.
Coach, you threw out a lot of names, and some names just when you said them, I smile a little bit. Lawrence Virgil, first-year defensive line. He could turn into. He's already pretty special, but he could be really good once he knows what he's doing, I guess.
Well, he doesn't realize how good he can be when the light comes on, so to speak. That guy is as good as anybody in the country, and he proved it yesterday. That was his best game as a defensive lineman. I think he had like 4 tackles for a loss, a couple of sacks, a forced fumble. The guy's just an amazing football player.
Shontavious Jones, an unbelievable day for him. And you and I have talked, we talked about, I think, in the post game, and I've said all season, I know he's only a sophomore, but there's a kid, 6'3", 200 pounds, great leaping ability. He was the player yesterday he needs to be every single week for the Blazers.
He does. He's got to be that type of player. And, when we can get he and Quinn Robertson together and playing the way that they played yesterday, we're going to be very, very tough. And the good thing about it is we spread the wealth around. We had a lot of guys, Griffin Riley, who's a sophomore, Quinn Robertson's a sophomore, Shontavious Jones is a sophomore. That wide receiving core is still young. And a lot of those guys we had a lot of guys making catches yesterday.
Well, it's such a mixture. You throw the ball to Raleigh, he's going to catch it. Just as long as you get it close to his hands, he's going to catch it most of the time. And then you got the deep guys, and it seems like the whole package there to receiving core. Different guys know their role.
We do, and that's the great thing about being able to coach those guys. They understand their role. They do the role to the very best of their ability. And the most exciting thing, with the exception of Trey Hearn and Scott Fambro, they're all back for a couple more years.
Yeah, it is good news. Great win for Valdosta State. We'll be back and look at some scores in just a minute.
This is Bubba Boatwright. I play defensive line. I'm from Gainesville, Georgia. You're watching the David Dean Show. Go Blazers!
Coach, we'll take a look at some scores around the Southeast. Albany State losing 26-24 to Lane.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at that. I thought Albany State would run the table. They got a great football team. I know they'll rebound. They'll still win that conference, I bet. Their big game's going to be Morehouse down the road.
And by the way, Morehouse beats Tuskegee 17-14.
Yeah, the Morehouse is an up-and-coming program. They're doing a very, very good job. Made the playoffs last year, and it looks like it may come down to Albany and, mix in Fort Valley there too.
Delta State on Thursday, 34-20 over Arkansas Monticello. They keep scoring points and beating people.
Yeah, that was a very interesting game. Monticello played them toe-to-toe, and if they don't throw an interception in the red zone that set up a score and then throw an interception for a score, that's a totally different ball game. And they also fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line out of the back of the end zone. There was a big swing in that game.
They didn't do those things a week before that.
No, they didn't.
North Alabama at 44-10 over Arkansas Tech. They just keep putting points up and winning.
Yeah, they're the number one team in the country for a reason.
And a couple other quicks here. West Alabama wins again, 38-10 over Southern Arkansas.
Yeah, they're a good football team, and our next opponent, and looks like they pretty much handled them on a homecoming day. And
West Georgia wins again, puts up 41-24 over Harding. Harding was out of sight there early in the season.
Yeah, they were rolling, and Harding's kind of hit a stretch where they're not playing as well. But that's a heck of a win by West Georgia, and again putting up 41 points against that defense. It looks like West Georgia's coming around and playing a lot better.
And I think it's something that's going to be good for the conference. They've been down a long time, and with the conference the way it is now, it's just going to put 5 good teams in there.
Yeah, it is.
This year and next year.
Well, the great thing about it is the Gulf South Conference this weekend went 5-0 against the Great American Conference, and that's something that we're all proud of.
Absolutely. So a great win for Valdosta. Some good scores there for us to take a look at. We'll be back with the Langdale Honda Kia look ahead in just a moment. All right, Coach, West Alabama coming to town this Saturday for homecoming, 3 o'clock kickoff, a little later than we normally start in October. But West Alabama, a team that really hurt us last year. We don't want to talk about that, but a good football team, and that program's really come up in the last few years.
Well, they really have. They're doing an outstanding job, and I think they're undefeated against Division II opponents this year. I think their only loss is South Alabama, who is a 1AA opponent, and they're playing very well. Will Hall's the new coach over there, and It looks like they're playing outstanding. I hadn't had an opportunity to see them on film yet this year, but just the numbers that they continue to put up, this is going to be a heck of a football game on Saturday.
It will be, and I know the Blazers, as you said, are in playoff mode after the loss last week.
Right.
And we were that way last year, and they responded. And you just get the feeling that that was exciting to see that game last Saturday, the way the football team played. But we hope we'll have a big crowd. I know the wind helped a lot for the Blazers, and a lot of people be in town. So hopefully we'll have a nice crowd there Saturday for homecoming.
Well, I hope so. And we're also going to present the rings to all of our guys who played on the last year's 2010 Gulf South Conference Championship before the game. Oh. So, that's going to be an exciting time. It's something that they deserve. We took a long time for us to raise the money to do it, but we got it now, so we're going to honor those guys.
All right, well, great win for Valdosta State. They go to 5-1 on the season. Tough road win in Arkansas. Homecoming at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon coming up this week against West Alabama. It'll be our first Gulf South Conference game of the year as we head into the home stretch of this season already. So for the head coach, David Dean, I'm Dick Rockey. Hope you have a wonderful week.